Time passed so quickly.
I know, time's passing so quickly. Okay, so we're going to talk about lower back today, which means we are definitely going to talk about the, I like to call it the psoas muscle. It's funny, YouTube, you know how they know you, the internet, recommended to me yesterday a video where a woman was talking about how her family for fun mispronounces words. I felt very seen. So the psoas, spelled like psychology, is the muscle that connects between your inner thigh. Sorry, I'm looking for a visual aid here. Sometimes I just clean up too much. It connects between your inner thigh and your lower four vertebrae. And it's actually a Y-shaped muscle. So it has sort of a longer name and a shorter name. Why? Yes. So one side of the psoas, the full name of the Y shape is iliopsoas, and that goes to your iliac crest. So while I'm talking right now, go ahead and find your hip bones, your iliac crest, aka, and just walk. Let me find some light here. Well, that's not more helpful. Walk your fingertips along the crest of your bones. Yeah, just up and down here. And you might have to press through a lot of flesh to feel that bony bit, but basically you can find them somewhere around the edge of yourself, and they come in and together. And then they might go out a little bit again before they come down, but you're looking for that feeling. Yeah. So one part of your iliopsoas attaches to that crest. And the other part, right? So this one, there would be the ilio part of the iliopsoas, from the inner thigh up to that crest. It's a little fan. And the other half of the Y goes up through your torso and attaches to your lower back. Yeah? So let's talk about that part. That's the part that I think is the most interesting. I'm going to mute you just so that the camera stays on me because I can't. Yeah, there we go. Why am I not? Hello. There we go. Okay. So when we discuss the way that the body tries to keep itself as efficient as possible, right? Your body is trying to prevent you from starving. So in order to prevent you from starving, it wants your body to be the most efficient thing it can. And the easiest way to save calories is to get rid of excess muscle, unfortunately, right? So that's why if you're not using a muscle for more than 3 days, your body starts to basically re-eat that flesh, because your muscle takes more calories to keep alive than your skin or your bones or other parts of your body. So when it comes to a nice, long, and strong psoas muscle, which would help you to flex your thigh, flex your hip, yeah, flexing. If we aren't really using it, then your body is going to make it weaker, so it gets weaker and skinnier, but also it gets shorter if we are not using it at its full extension all the time. And what might that look like, friends? Well, of course, if we're sitting, that psoas muscle doesn't need to be as long. So your body will shrink that muscle down basically so that it lives in its short version. And when that psoas muscle is short and we go stand up, guess what happens? Well, our back gets pulled forward, yeah? And if we also happen to be not paying attention to our abs, then there's nothing to help us to lift it back to a vertical space. Yeah, so a short, we often say tight, but really it's about shortness. A short psoas muscle, iliopsoas muscle, will pull your pelvis into 6 o'clock position when you stand up. And the way that we counterbalance that is by using our transversus abdominis and our rectus abdominis to get that pelvis back to a neutral spine, right? Neutral spine meaning your tips of those hip bones where they stick out the most and your pubis are on the same level. So that would be vertical here or horizontal if we're on the floor on the mat, yeah? But if we're not engaged here and not toned here, then this bends forward. It hyperextends your lower back. And there's two kinds of discomfort that we can have from a hyperextended lower back. The one that most of us feel most often is that our lower back muscles, so sort of from the top of your pelvis and to the bottom of your rib cage, there's a lot of different muscles back there, but I'm going to oversimplify and put them into two groups. The big wide section, you could generally think of as your quadratus lumborum or your QL, and those for some of us get just really tight like this, and often lopsidedly. And the other place you can really feel it is tons of muscles, but to simplify it, we'll call the paraspinal muscles. And so those are the muscles that work together along each side of your spine. And there's a whole big set on the left side of your spine, right? And the right side of your spine. And so since they are parallel to your spine, we call them the paraspinal muscles, even though they're really a whole bunch of little short ones working together. So either of those two places could get quite fatigued. And then when our muscles get fatigued, they sort of hold on for dear life. And that's what a muscle knot feels like, right? When it gets like stuck in the contracted section. And so if your psoas is pulling you forward and either your QLs and or your paraspinal muscles are working really hard to try not to give in to that dumping of the spine, then you can get really tight and sore in the lower back. So that would be muscular fatigue and knots that are caused by your psoas being too short and your abdominal wall being too weak. The other kind of pain you can get back there is actually like joint pain. And when I say joint pain, I mean your vertebrae of your spine and the cartilaginous cushions in between. So let me give you a visual aid to help with this. I'm trying to think, oh, do I have an even better one? No, I don't, but I can find one. I have an idea now. So if you imagine your spine, right, as being, let's say my fist is a vertebrae, and then there's another vertebrae and another vertebrae and another vertebrae and another vertebrae, right, all the way up. In between each of those bones is a little pad of cartilage, and that cartilage disc is basically like a jelly donut. I don't know why everything's food in my back, but it is. And what I mean is that there's like a firm gel part and there's a squishy part in the middle. So if you were to imagine, I'm going to switch metaphors now, that the spinal vertebrae are like the buns of a hamburger and the disc, the jelly donut, I guess it's weird to have a jelly donut burger, is the meat in a burger, or the impossible meat if you don't eat meat. And you just imagine like taking a big like club sandwich style and like trying to take a bite out, and it's way too big, like pantomime it because it's fun, right? And you take a bite on one side, what happens to the other side? Right? The meat and the fillings all squirt out the other side. That can happen with your vertebrae if you are too hyperextended. Then they, instead of sitting on top of each other like a club sandwich or a burger, if they get too hyperextended because you're dumping your back out, beep, then one side gets smashed together and the other side, the fillings get smushed out. So you can have a bulging disc or even a herniated disc when the jelly donut pops out of your disc. And both of those things obviously are extremely painful, especially because you have lots of nerves passing through that sandwich. So if you're really tilted in there, you can be pinching a nerve. Those are all the reasons why we have a whole class devoted to protecting the alignment of your spine through abdominal strength and stretching. So we did in my core fitness class this week, we did some extra stretching of the psoas after we did our focused look at the exercises, which we're going to do here today. And just a heads up that we did a deep stretch in the psoas at the end of the class. And sometimes when you stretch your psoas out and it's been really tight for a long time, it's good to give it another gentle stretch again before and after you go to bed that night, because sometimes your back like feels a little wonky the next day, because if it's really stretched out, then sometimes this might release a lot and it feels really sore, or if it's stretched out and you go back to bed and it goes, oh my gosh, what happened today, then you can really end up with a tight back again. So it's not something that gets fixed usually like in one workout, but hopefully by the end of today you'll feel really differently, and then you want to make sure you're gently stretching it over the next couple of days if we get in there deeply. So that said, how about some fun music, yeah? Do, 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 do. Oh no. Apparently we're starting with abs. All right, down on the floor. Let's just warm this sucker right up, huh? Rocking that pelvis, keeping the belly in, so our pelvic floor is in. Pelvis rock, and now we're gonna do curls. We're going 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Your right leg's gonna come up, turned out and flexed. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and switch in. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. We're now switching legs and we'll go 8, 7, and 8, 7, 6. Starting your trackers if you haven't, both legs up. And point. And to the side. So straight to the side. And now twist it. We're gonna switch sides. Straight to the side. And twist it. Roll it up. Soft neck. Knees together and roll downs. Here we go, and we go. Curl, curl, rise up, and curl, 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 rise up, and curl, 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 rise up, and curl, curl. Stay right there, and we'll knee it in. Try to relax your shoulders and bring your skull back over in line with your neck again. And twist. Good. Take it up. We're going to roll it partway down, and we're going to roll our body onto one hip, all the way over. Little push-ups here. Abs in. Elbows back along your body. Good, that's enough. Roll back center. Side, side up. Side, side up. Knees together. Side, side up. Good. Take it down low. Other side, we're going to fall over. Our elbows are going to stay out for these ones. Fingers and toes, we're going out, elbows, down. Out, elbows, down. Out, elbows, down. Out, elbows, down. Bring it up. Back to the front. Both knees up. Hold your legs. One leg at a time goes up and down and up and down and up and down and up both legs will go. Both legs and down and hold, no arms. Good, let that down. Go ahead and bend your knees. Check in with your hamstrings by dropping your head. Since we're already down on the floor, let's go ahead and roll down to your elbows. Your right leg's bent, your hips are squared. We're going to lift up our pelvic floor, pull our scoops in, and drop our waist, and then straight leg, locking that knee, flexing the foot. So your foot is coming towards your head. And we are stabilizing in the hips by holding our Pilates scoop in. Switch. Other leg. Check your Pilates scoop and your pelvic floor. Up. Straight leg, locked knee. We don't lock our knee very often, but we do lock our knee for this exercise. Whew. Reset that belly. Whew. Switch. Switch. Check that pelvic floor. Check those scoops are in. All right. Go ahead and come to your side. So ribs are on the floor. Go ahead and release your Pilates scoop. Let everything out. Bring those knees up close, aligning your knees so you know your hips are aligned. Scooping up and in. Good job. And we're gonna open and close. Remember, we want our legs to close with our knees all the way together each time. Good, open pulse. We're trying to keep our pelvis right still on top of itself. Good, send it out. Squeeze those thighs together. Look at your own knees. Your knees in this position should be turned out, which means that one is pointed up this way and the other one's pointed down towards the floor. Turn your legs to parallel. Now both the toes and the knees are pointing straight forward, and rock it back out to turned out and parallel and turned out and parallel, turned out, parallel, turned out. Recheck your floor and scoop. We're going to go up. Top leg only turns in, turn it back out. Make sure it's turned out. Bring it together. Hold that turned out position as you move the heel forward. I like to think about dragging my pinky toe back in space. Turn it parallel. Turn it out again. Bring them both together. To the back of the room. Think about leading with that pinky toe. And I'm not going all the way back in line with my body. It's still a little bit forward, although I'm trying to reach back. And we're going to turn that parallel. Hold it, check it, feel it. Turn that back to turned out. Hold turned out, lead with the inner thigh to come back together. Good, now you've been all those places. We're going to move through those positions, holding turned out. Up, parallel, turn it out, close. Front, parallel, turn it out, close. To the back, parallel, turn it out, close. Try not to get stuck in your parallel position. You want to hold it in the turned out position. So watch your own leg to make sure it's happening. And up. And bend. Okay, relax everything for a second. Reset. So bottom leg is turned out. Your toe is pushing into the earth to give you something to press against. Hollowed up. No weight from this foot on the other leg. Yeah, I'm supporting this leg in the air. It's a lot of work, yes? Holding those hips still. We're gonna go close. That knee all the way to the floor. Open, 2, and close. 2. Open, 2, and close. 2. Try to open it all the way up and all the way down. Just one more. All the way up and all the way down. Good job. Switch your legs. So now our bottom leg's going to come up as high as maybe almost your belly button. top leg straight. Take that straight top parallel leg and place it on the floor. Check your Pilates scoop and your pelvic floor, and then lift that leg to parallel with your body and down. So now we're getting gluteus medius and gluteus minimus. Slow and steady. You want to feel this on the outside of your hip. If you feel it on the front of your hip, it means that your leg has traveled forward. Keep it straight in line with your body, please. Good. Let's swing that foot forward. Place it on the mat. Straighten your bottom leg and lift your bottom leg. Good. Bend that bottom leg again. Roll onto your back for number 4 stretch, and that should stretch all those muscles on the outside of that hip that we just worked. So I'm going to reach through my body. I'm going to pull this knee in. So the leg that was your top leg, that hip is being stretched. Good. All right, let's switch sides. Laying down on your other side. Both knees quite far forward to start. Yeah. Knees together. So if one knee is back behind the other, then I know that my hips are also back. So line up correctly first. Pelvic floor in. Pilates scoop in. Shoulders down to help your neck not feel so collapsed. Yeah. Here we go. We're going clamshells, open and close. Little taps. And send those legs out on the 45-degree angle. I'm going to turn for a second so you can see the view from over my head. So it's probably a little similar to what you're seeing. So if I have my knees forward, yeah, and I open them to a clamshell, and then I send them down, notice how they're quite far forward of my body. Straight in line with my body is not where I am. My legs are forward about 45 degrees. Up. Turn it in, lengthen through your spine, turn it out, and close. Heel leads forward, hold that turn out, and close to parallel, return to turn out, and back together, legs still in turn out, checking your positions here. So you're taking your time, taking that leg back. Notice it's still not all the way in line with the other one. But I'm working on holding that turnout, and then I'm going to rotate the leg to parallel, and I'm going to re-rotate to turned out, and bring those heels back together in front of the body. Yeah, not my center line. Okay, here we go. Double time. Up, in, out, close, front, turn it in, turn it out, together, back, parallel, turn it out, together, up, parallel, turn it out, together, and front, parallel, turn it out, together, take it to the back, turn it in, turn it out, together, and up, in, out, close, front, in, out, close, back, in, out, close. Okay, that's enough. Bring your legs up. Oh, no, I'm sorry, we didn't do our last one. Closing that leg and opening the leg. And closing that leg, and opening the leg, and closing that leg, and opening the leg. Use your glutes, use your butt, under your butt. There we go. Okay, top leg. This time the bottom leg is up front, the top leg is in line with your body. So straight leg lifts up to the height of the body and back down. Up and down. and down. Check your pelvic floor, check your Pilates scoop. Make sure that your hip is not trying to do the work. So the distance between my hip and my waist is not changing as I'm doing this exercise. This distance stays the same. So this has to change. It's getting bigger and smaller. All right, put it down, take it in the front. Now your bottom leg straight, lift it. You can already feel that stretch happening in your top leg. All right, roll it back. Work. Go ahead and stretch your wrists out while we're here. All right, release that and come on up. Two hands right underneath your shoulders. Yeah? Go ahead and lean your butt from side to side. And pause. Lift your pelvic floor in. Pull your Pilates scoop in. And then we're going to work through our 12 o'clock, neutral, and 6 o'clock. Make sure you guys can see. Keeping myself honest. All right, so pelvic floor in, Pilates scoop in, release your Pilates scoop, and then release your pelvic floor. Pelvic floor, Pilates scoop, release the scoop, release the floor. Here we go, scoop, unscoop, floor, floor, scoop, unscoop, floor. It's really challenging to get the coordination to release your Pilates scoop without releasing your pelvic floor. But those skills will help you avoid wearing adult diapers, so they're good skills to work on. We're all gonna get old one day. All right, holding that in, let's add the pelvic cluck. So we go curl, neutral, arch, neutral. Try not to press out your Pilates scoop, especially when you go to the arch position. Good. Now take your arms down to your elbows. Shoulder push-ups right here. You can come up for a little fun to a downward dog position with your body. Bring your legs all the way together, and we're going to bend one leg and kick it up to the sky. So hamstrings, we're going kick, 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 hamstrings and glute. Switch legs. Bend it and squeeze it up. Keep pressing actively into those arms. Good. Take it down. Bring your legs all the way together. Rest your head for a moment on your forehead on your hands. And it's pelvic floor, Pilates scoop. Lengthen your tailbone towards your toes so you're making more space in your lower back. Make room for that big stack of pancakes. We're gonna take our leg up, and don't be tempted to just bend your knee. I want your thigh to come off the floor, friend. Here we go, we're going thigh up, thigh up, thigh up. Now notice, did you lift that thigh up maybe by lifting your whole butt and leg? That's not the goal either. Both hip bones are gonna stay on the ground. We're gonna keep our abs in, and we're gonna move just the thigh up, so that'll get our inner thigh. And if you can, think about the thigh going across your center line just a half an inch, so you're squeezing in rather than out, yeah? Here we go, we're going in and out. Pulse, 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 pulse. How's your pelvic floor? How's your abs, friends? 6. Here we switch our legs. Up. 2. Check your pelvic floor. Check your Pilates scoop. Check your lower back is long because you're trying for a neutral spine. All right, let's open those legs a little bit. Can you wiggle your butts around? Feel if you can feel your hip flexors. Are you aware that they are tight at this point? They might be because we've done a lot of work with them already. Big breath in, shoulders back, pelvic floor up, Pilates scoop in, curl that lower back. We're going to take our legs up and together. So I want you to feel your inner thighs clapping, yeah? Inner thigh clap back. So we're going clap, 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 clap. Good. Okay, rest those legs. We're going to push back up, tuck your tailbone, and push with your hands to open up the lower back and check in with yourself. If your lower back feels really tight in the quadratus lumborum section, then you know that you weren't holding a neutral spine, but instead we were lifting a little bit with that twerking action, yeah? Press your hips side to side. Let this just be a juicy stretch for your lower back. Come back up to all fours. Curve, neutral, arch, neutral. Curve, neutral, arch, neutral. Curve, neutral, arch, neutral. Okay, elbows, bend them slightly, and I want you to squeeze them, pulsing them inward. So, while you're in that position. Okay, hold that squeeze so your arms are staying parallel, and we're gonna tuck your knees in and across. So I'm trying to tuck right knee to left elbow and vice versa, keeping my abs in, my back flat. Elbows down, knees up, find a hollowed out pelvis. Same feeling, in and out. All right, step it wide. Walk your hands up. Have a little stretch in the middle here, friends. Go ahead and grab the opposite arm and just hang. Your knees can be as bent as you like, but really let your head drop. And rolling it up. Shoulders back. All righty, righty, righty. We're gonna roll those shoulders back. We're gonna take our hand on the front and back of our chest, and I want you to feel your heart push forward. Push, 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 push. Now think about your shoulder blades squeezing together and down, and we're gonna push, 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 push. Anchor those shoulders down so you're feeling your ribs moving just a little bit forward. Soften your knees a bit for me. Bring those ribs back and bring them forward. Bring them back. Feel your weight rock into your heels. And then push them forward. Shoulders back, chest forward. Push it forward till you fall forward. Let it be a little playful. Okay, here's your proposition. I'd like you to try experimenting with keeping this rib cage slightly forward. Think about where my mic pack should go next. So we're going to do this next exercise with our shoulder blades anchored down just enough that it feels like our ribs are popping forward a little bit. And that's going to give us a little bit of extra room in the lower back, yeah? Okay, friends, we're going to step wide. Comfortably turned out. Yeah, so you're neither turned out wide nor are you perfectly parallel. Somewhere a little bit in between that feels good on your body. We're going to take our big breath. Roll those shoulders down and back. Pardon me. There we go. Yeah? Hands on your pelvis for a moment. Go ahead and slide those hips back. And tuck them underneath. Lifting up. Bring your chest a little bit forward. And then tip your hips all the way to the side. And lean your chest away. And I'd like you to roll those shoulders back and maybe think about this armpit moving 3 inches forward. Yeah? So in a video, it looks like I'm really flat. All right, let me move up against this wall here. Bonk. There's my butt against the wall. Finding my neutral spine or even a little bit tucked. And if I lean over, I'm sending my butt to the side. I'm really going to take my shoulder, my bottom shoulder, reach it just a few inches forward. Yeah? So let me show you what that looks like from the side. Yeah? Long lower back. And try this each time with me, because it takes a while to get the feeling. Hips go away from the top of the body. And then I'm going to take my lower shoulder just slightly forward. Yeah? Good. Here we go. Other side. Tiny rotation. And when you do that tiny rotation, you should feel it in your obliques of the opposite side. Yeah? Don't let your booty go out. That would be very different. It's under. Reset it slow again. Whoop. Hips. Body. Slight twist. Good, good. And push the floor. Leaving your hip up as you come up, then switching sides. Here we go in fluid motion. Hip comes over. Tuck it underneath. Lean your shoulders out. Give a little rotation. Maybe pulse, 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 pulse. Hip stays there. In space. Switch. Over. Tuck it 12 o'clock. Lean it out. Further. Twist a little bit and pulse. Pulse. Hip stays right there. Stuck in space. Obliques working. Coming slowly up. 2, 3, 4. Hips center. Other side. 12 o'clock. Neutral. I'm sorry. 6 neutral. 12. Lean it out. 2, 3, 4. Really twist. Hollow underneath. And pulse. 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 Up. Switch sides. Now flow. We're going over. 2. Twist. 2. Rise up. 4, 2. Switch. 4, 2. Take it over. 2. Twist. 4, 2. And hollow it up. Rise. Hips. Over. Twist. 2. Up. Center. Hips. Away. Chest. 2. Pulse. 2. Come up. And center. And take your hands up above your head. Push your chin forward. Pull it back in. And out. And in. And notice when I pull my chin in, it makes me have length here. When my chin is pushed out, it's very compressed, yeah? So we want to keep that long neck. We're going to go down to the floor here for the spinal twist series, yeah? This is definitely a place where we tend to slouch and compress our neck. So pull that chin in, and that will lift your shoulders up. We're going to start, before we even worry about the lower body, let's put our hands just right behind your bun. And then walk your hands back. And notice that if my hands are walked back, my shoulders are behind my hips, yeah? So if you're going to help yourself support yourself when we're doing these sitting on the floor exercises, get your hands right next to your hips so that as you push your shoulders down, your rib cage is over your pelvis, and that helps our lower back stay flat. A lot of the time when we start this exercise, people feel tight in their thighs, and so they let themselves work on this backwards slouchy angle, and we'll miss the exercise. Yeah, we'll end up working different things. So keep yourself vertical. That really sitting up part is the hardest part of this exercise. Okay, We have our nice soft legs. Remember, I have been dancing for like 20 years now, so my legs go flat. I don't expect your legs to go flat. So even though I kind of end up in a flat leg, this is a perfectly excellent position to work in. Your knees should be pointing skyward, and you want to scoot your booty back until you can feel your sits bones, your pelvic bones, pointing into the floor. If you're rolled behind your sits bones and they're pointing forward, then you're in that position we just talked about, yeah? So bend your knees as much as you need to get those sits bones pointing down and then shoulders on top. We're gonna curve and up, just like a roll down, curve and up and curve and up and curve and up. Now, as you come up, you're gonna use those quadratus laborum and paraspinal muscles. That is good. We want you to use them. You are also really using your iliopsoas muscle and your vastus medialis. So you're using your hip flexors, but don't forget to use your back. And when your hip flexors start to feel so tired that they're like burning, shake your legs out, roll, 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 to get them to do less of the work and bring that work back to your lower back. And your core, of course, yeah, in the front. Okay, so we're gonna put those pieces together. We're gonna drop our bellies out, just relax everything, slouch. Pelvic floor is gonna lift up and in. Pilates scoops in. And then we're gonna use our lower back muscles to lift up the spine. We're gonna use our upper back muscles to pull our shoulders back. And you're gonna have that feeling of your ribs being about an inch forward, yeah? Most of us are functioning way back here, so that ribs forward feeling is just getting you straight. It's maybe 5% of the class that's gonna get too far. So if you have a mirror, you can check, yeah? All right, here we are. We're going to curl back like it's a roll down. I'm just moving my hands out of the way so you can see, but your hands can be here to help you out or resting. Can you make your spine snake here? Keeping your pelvic floor in. All right, we're gonna add to that the twist. So first, twisting with no arms. Twist your heart to the right. Now, if you're not using your arms, then your shoulders should stay in line with your ribs. And then when you put your arms out, that means that your left arm is over your left leg, and we're gonna turn our heads to that side. So we turned our rib cage to one leg, and the other things are on line with the other leg. Don't let this go past. Don't let this go past. Your rib cage movement is key, and we're trying to wring out a wet towel here in the middle. So if you're pushing out instead of scooping in, it's gonna feel like everything's sagging out wider, and I want you instead to twist longer like taffy, okay? Here's all our points together. Elbows are up behind you, curve, roll down, bring it back up, use your back and core, and twist your heart to the right and come back center. Curve, roll down, bring it up, use your back, twist your heart to the left, bring it back to the center. Repeat, curve up, down. Remember, your knees can be bent here. Good. Drop your arms for a second. Shake or jiggle those legs out. Go ahead and release them for a second. Now, I am trying to get your hip flexors super hot and tired here because we're going to do deep stretch next. So if you're having feelings there, it's okay. Yeah, shake them out. Next thing we're going to do involves the twist that we just did with the belly getting smaller and a tilt of the rib cage. So before you're twisting, just go like this. And I want you to be sitting up straight as though you were against a wall. You can use a wall if you have one. And bring your rib cage to your hip bone on the side, to your hip on the side. So you can think about your elbow going down to its own hip. And you're going to have a little squeeze of the obliques there, yeah? Now, Can you press that shoulder into the wall and try and tuck your elbow into your back pocket? And if you add that twisting feeling, you're going to start feeling it through your latissimus dorsi, which is a big muscle here. It's like a wing. Maybe also teres minor, which is a little one here. Those both help pull the shoulder back. So we twist and tilt, release. Twist, tilt, release. Twist, tilt, release. Twist, tilt, release. All right, we're going to add that together with the spinal twist. Nice legs on your sits bones. Zipped up, in, shoulders back, elbows lift. Here we go. Roll down. 2, rise up. 2, heart right. 2, tip right. 2, come up. 2, come center. 2, roll down. Lift up. Twist it. Tilt it. Upright. Center. Contract. Rise. And twist. And tilt. And now most of us, when we start learning this exercise, instead of tilting to the back, we tend to tilt to the front. So I'm going to show you what it should not look like. Here's what it should look like. Here's what it should not look like. Yeah? So some of us tilt this way. I want you to tilt your ribs back and reach this armpit underneath and up. So you can now add a little push forward. So contract, 12 o'clock neutral, twist your heart, tilt your armpit to your back pocket, and then push forward just a little bit. And twist and center. Drop your shoulders for a second, shake out your legs. We're going to do the same thing, just faster. Give yourself a wee break. Walk your hands back, lean away from each side. All right, here we go. I know, we're getting worn. Pelvic floor, Pilates scoop, shoulders back, elbows lift. Here we go. We go contract and rise and twist and tilt and lean and twist and center. Contract and rise and twist and tilt and lean and center. And center. Double time it. Twist, tip, twist, center, and twist, tilt, twist, center, and twist, tilt, twist, center, and twist, tilt. Last one. Can you make it? You did it. Take it down. Hooray. Reach one side and the other. Okay. Laying on your back with your heels nice and close. Big breath in. Big exhale. Relax. Gather that pelvic floor up. Your knees should be parallel, thighs parallel with your hip bones, yeah? One foot in this position without lifting the heel. If your feet are in the right position, you should be able to touch the center of the opposite foot easily. If your feet are too far, you won't be able to touch. If they're too close, it'll be like, oh, I'm right here. I say that because that'll help your legs be in line, and if your legs are in line, you're going to have an easier time on your knees while we do the bridge. Okay, so we're going to do pelvic clock, 6 neutral, 12 neutral a few times. Then we're going to roll up into the bridge, holding our spine in neutral functional spine. Here we go. You're down on your back, you're parallel. Pelvic floor in, Pilates scoop, and we're going to go 6 o'clock. Your back lifts off the floor, and then neutral, and then 12 o'clock. Repeat and go neutral, 6, neutral, 12. If you're not sure, slide your hands underneath your butt cheeks here. 12 o'clock, there's no weight of your butt on your hands. And in this pelvic clock, we're not using our legs to push the floor. We add that in only when the hips come off the ground. All right, here we go. Rolling up. 8 counts. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Roll down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right here, my glutes and my hamstrings, the back of my legs, are engaged before I get to 12 o'clock. I'm holding this position, and I'm going to release my glutes and my legs and try and hold that position. That's my 12 o'clock, yeah? Pressure in the lower back. Neutral. 6, neutral. 12. Add legs and butts. Push up. 6, 7, 8, and down. Notice what it feels like here in your hip flexors and your thighs and knees. 12 o'clock, neutral. 6, neutral. 12, roll up. 12 o'clock, neutral. 6, neutral. Come on up. Oh, come on, sit up. Okay, we're going to pause that exercise, and we're going to stretch out our hip flexors now, yeah? So we're going to do 2 stretches, then we're going to come back and do that exercise again so that you can hopefully feel the difference and a lot more space in your hips while you do it. So go ahead and find a wall or a chair or anything that's around this height for your hand to touch for balance. You're going to step forward pretty big, and we're going to shift the pelvis forward. And the thing is that most of us want to stick our booty out here and let the knee pass forward, like we're doing sort of a pigeon or a runner's lunge. That's not what we're doing. We want to focus at the very top of the thigh where it connects. So keep it more like you're proposing, yeah? 12 o'clock pelvis, tucked underneath, and dropping the forward thigh. So we're really square. And one of the reasons why psoas are such a tricky and mysterious thing is because everybody's body feels this stretch in sort of a different place. And sometimes you feel it better with one stretch on one day and a different stretch on another day. So it can be hard to get in there and really, you're looking for a sensation to let you know that you're doing it correctly. If you're feeling it mostly in the thigh, that means your booty's still out. So tuck in underneath a little more. Remember, we're trying to stretch something that goes from the thigh to the lower back. So we have to pull that lower back while the thigh goes forward. All right, switching your legs. Take it slow. Yeah, when I come up here, big arch in my back, I'm going to tuck it underneath, shift it forward. Recheck your Pilates, scoop your pelvic floor, all in the name of straightening out those pelvises, yeah? So you're getting the top of the thigh where it plugs into the hips. Release. All right, now we are going to do the big runner stretch. So send your right leg forward, drop your hips down, and let them separate. All right. Your right leg is back, I'm assuming. In fact, let's switch. Let's just get you even, and then we'll all make sure that we're on the same side after that, yeah? So runner stretch other side. All righty. Okay, now your right leg is going to be front. Left leg back. Yeah. down. So this is your right leg in front. You're going to reach your right arm forward. You're going to lift up and lengthen through that lower back as much as possible to start. And I'm going to make a big rainbow and look past my right arm, twisting the torso. If you can, grab your leg. You can grab your pants as well. Woo! I don't know, friends. Good, and release that. And switching sides. All right, so now your left leg's front. Big stretch forward. Front leg is the arm that comes through. You're going to spiral your chest, and really that twist of the chest is what gives you the space to reach all the way back. All right, releasing that. I'm plotting, can you tell? Okay, let's go ahead and sit here. No, let's come on to one arm and one leg. So I've got my knee sort of back at an angle here. I'll show you in a minute from another way. I'm going to put my hand down so it's right underneath my shoulder. You can go all the way flat. Let's go all the way flat. And all I'm going to do is, if I were in that position where we're doing the stretch, knee forward, I'm going to open this knee to the 45-degree angle. That's a good way to set it up, yeah? So my other foot is back. I'm going to take this whole torso over, yeah? So I'm nice and open. Now I'm going to flail out all these hip flexors here, including tensor fascia lata. So I'm going to lift up here. And maybe this is barely coming off the floor for you. That's fine, too. We're going to lift it. 2, 3, 4, abs in. 5, 6. Keep your bottom hip working to keep you up. Good, that's plenty. Take it back together. Step it forward. Open it. Tip everything over. Open it up. Pulse, 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 pulse. Make sure this bottom hip is pushing open underneath you. Good. Bring it back up. Square. Straight to the side. Same idea. Straight to the side. Circle. So I'm making a circle on that wall to the side. Switch. This is a lot, you guys. Keep it small. If you're feeling like your back is hurting, maybe it's down here, yeah? Keeping stabilization. Oh, sorry, lifts first. And then our circle as we go. Circle, here's a small version. Good. All right, take it down. Good. Here we go. Lean back. Open up those thighs. Notice how much your booty wants to stick out and your waist wants to arch, and pull it back underneath. You can rock slowly side to side to explore opening those thighs some more. All right, squeeze your thighs back to parallel, so hold that parallel. You got to squeeze it. Zip up your core, rising up. Push, stay with your bacon on your hips, and we dive through. And fall, nose, chin, chest, press it up and lower. Stay down. Back to the start, thighs parallel before you go. Tuck it down. Bacon on your hips, coming up. 2. Tuck it back, take it through. 2. Nose, chin, chest. Push it down. Keep it low, home. All right, here we go to stretchy land. We're gonna take your knees and fold them both to your left side. So I'm sitting on both hips, and I'm gonna tuck my back hip behind me and open my front hip wide, trying to keep that nice and wide, but still sitting on both hips, which can be very hard if you're tight in the hips, yeah? If you're tight in the hips, it probably feels like one hip is stuck up. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see where this back foot is placed. Yeah, so my foot is not flexed. If your ankle is flexed here, it's going to be a big twist in your knee. So you want to point that underneath yourself. Hopefully you're in this position now and things are starting to loosen up in that hip a little bit so you can be on both feet. So my big toe is definitely tucked underneath, although my pinky is not on the floor here. And that gives me less of a torque in the knee. Now we're going to spiral from the base of the spine to the top of the head. First we're going to spiral away from the foot, and then we're going to spiral back towards the foot. So here we go. Hip pushes open, big stretch in your hip flexors already. Waist turns. Remember, when we're twisting, we're trying to make it smaller. Ribs, shoulders, neck, head. Hips come back down. Waist comes, ribs come, shoulders, neck, head. Take a moment and press with your hands. Just enjoy that stretch. And notice whether you have bent or twisted. We're trying to reach in a weird way. We want to be like a narwhal horn, which is super long, yeah? So super long spine all the way through the crown of your head. Okay, here we go. We go hips, rotate, waist, ribs, shoulders, neck, head. Push with your hands for a hot sec. Just enjoy that twist. Okay, from here we're going to keep it going. Here we go. We'll go hips down, waist, ribs, shoulders, neck, head. Push your hips, open hips, waist, ribs, neck, head, hips down. Returning to your left, shoulders, head. Push, really open that thigh. Lift it up, come all the way out and over. Walk your fingers out just a little bit. Find a little more twist. Zip it back up, my friends. We're going to take your back foot and wrap it around your body. Here you go. We're lifting up and back and up. Look over your right shoulder and see if you can see your foot over there. Good. Bring that around to the front. Open it up. Switch sides. Take a moment to settle in. Many of us are very lopsided, so it might feel really different on your left than your right. Certainly is true for me. Just remember your back foot is pointed. We don't want to feel a torque in this knee. All right. So use your hands. Twist back towards the foot first. And pelvic floor up, Pilates scoop in, your hip pushes open, and you twist around. And use your hands, enjoy that twist. Hips down. All right, let's flow. Here we go. We're going hips, waist, ribs, shoulders, neck, head, hips down. Waist, ribs, shoulders, neck, head, hips, open, waist, ribs, shoulders, neck, head, and hips, down, waist, ribs, shoulders, neck, head, and press it open. We're going to stay open. Lifting up and over your other hip, and we wrap the foot around the back, lifting all that leg off the floor with a pulse. Pulse, keep pulling in your abs. All right, bring it forward. Bring that leg forward and across. Stack one shin on top of the other. Lean it forward. Drop your head. Look from one knee down to your belly button to the other knee. So you're twisting your head and opening the back of your neck. Roll it up. All right, we're going to come back to our first leg position with your left leg tucked back. This looks really different for everybody's body. So find the spot that works for you, yeah? Foot's tucked back. Go ahead and place your hand right here at the crease where your thigh plugs into your hip. And if you wiggle your leg or try and lift it up, you should feel your psoas and your hip flexors sort of popping out here. They like rise up. You should feel two tight ropey things here. That's what we're trying to open up. So first thing I'm going to do is separate my pelvis from my thigh, yeah? So if this were a taco, I would be cracking it open. Yeah, open that section, open by pressing my hip through and across the body to your right. Then I'm going to separate my legs and open it some more. This is going to be enough for many of us, yeah? You can keep opening that thigh away from the pelvis. You can keep pressing your tailbone underneath you, not your waist forward, right? So we're going for 12 o'clock to open that up. If you're here and you want more, you can take your right arm and put it down to the elbow. I'm reaching out through that knee. I'm pulling my belly into 12 o'clock and I'm spreading open that hip socket, yeah? Take some feeling out to find the spot. If you need even more, you can start to walk your back down to the floor. I wouldn't recommend it unless you are a dancer and you know that you need that kind of stretch. Here's the next bus stop in this stretch, yeah? So started, opened, tucked to 12 o'clock, elbow down, both elbows down. Notice how my knee came up? That already shows me that I'm pretty maxed out. My hips are pretty tight today. But if you are going to put your back down and retuck, you can come all the way down. Respect your knee, yeah? You don't want it to be torqued, so you want to be really opening the hip by pressing the tail underneath yourself. If you are on the ground, you get up by taking the back leg arm up over yourself in a big round arc. Yeah, so you come up with a big long back. All right, friends, that back leg is now your top leg. And we lean forward. So in this position where I have my legs stacked up like two logs, if you have really tight external rotators, which is where we're stretching under the hips here, this can look really like a pile of logs and you're reaching forward over a pile of logs rather than being flat. And that's totally fine as long as you're feeling it right underneath here, especially on the top leg side. Yeah, so it looks really different depending on your body. Make sure you're not hovering in the chest. You want to get your pelvis to lean forward wherever you can, yeah? And with that, roll on up. Your top leg is now your front leg, and your back leg is going to come behind you. Take some time to rock it out. Yeah? Remember, we're trying to separate the thigh. If you go ahead and lean forward towards there and just take your hand in the middle and see if you can put your belly on top of your hand and your thighs on the other side. That's the crease we're trying to open up. Yeah? Open that up. If you had a fluffy tail, arf, arf, right? A big fluffy tail like a husky dog, and you tucked it underneath yourself and someone pulled that tail, so you're really tucking underneath yourself, super duper 12 o'clock. As the right leg swings behind you, your fluffy dog tail is coming underneath. That's starting to open it some more. Yeah, make sure you're not pushing your belly forward, but instead you're pushing that tail underneath yourself. Turn to the side so you can see a little different view. Pulling my belly down, opening the thigh away from my hip socket. Respect the knee, listen to it, moving slowly and deliberately to where you are opening your hip socket, and looks different on every body. Woo! Foot cramp. All right. All right. Bring your arm around your body to keep it long back as you come back up. Yay, you did it. So we're going to lay on our back for this last moment. I just want you to take your knees into your chest and press them firmly in and roll across those lower back so your weight's in your quadratus lumborum. You can feel those hip flexors pressing against your hip bones. You can feel how they've been worked. Yeah. Gently place your feet on the floor. Let your knees knock together and take some inventory right now of your back. Does it feel like it's hovering above the mat and it's still tight because you've just asked a lot of it? Or does it feel kind of a little softer? Maybe walk your feet out a little bit. Maybe test one leg long, reopening that hip and feeling what your back is doing. And switching sides. Opening up the other hip socket, the other hip flexors, and noticing what your lower back feels like. Yeah, so when you get into bed tonight, you might try a little windshield wiper thighs. Yeah, so I can open this hip as it leans across the body. And just try and keep that soft because we gave it such a deep stretch today. And we really worked them out, so they might get really tight tonight if you just go to bed. So make sure you give them a little gentle love, gentle start tomorrow. And with that, you made it through another class. Give yourself a hand. And I'm of course here if you have